This is the Adobe Illustrator Reimagined for tablets, a project by the students of New Media Design at the National Institute of Design. This video will demonstrate features of the application. Let's begin with the Grid tool. Selecting the Grid tool by tapping on the icon opens up the text fields and the number pad to fill up the specifications of the grid, the number of rows, columns, and the width and height of the bounding box. The grid gets made dynamically as you fill in the details. The value filled once here is the default value, unless you reset it. Once the grid appears on the screen, dragging from the corner decreases the rows and columns proportionately. Any of the conventional transformations can be applied to the bounding box. The number of rows and columns can be modified, or the grid can be moved around to a different location on the screen. Constraining the grid proportions can be achieved by holding a finger down on the screen while dragging. This invokes snapping of the values and can be applied to the bounding box as well. There are options to make isometric and axonometric grids for the purpose of 3D drawing and illustration. These views can be selected from the main toolbar and parameters modified by entering values in the text fields as seen earlier. Moving on to the Rectangle tool. Select the Rectangle tool. By default, the rectangle is created from the corner. Tap on screen with another finger to create the rectangle from the center. Select the Polygon tool. You can change the number of sides by using the handle S and radius by handle R. Drag the handle R, tap and hold anywhere on the screen, and drag to change the radius without causing any rotation. Now for the Knead tool. When the context menu pops up on long press, select the Knead tool. You can knead the object with multiple fingers. You can move the pivot of the Knead tool as well. The Arrange and Stack tool. This tool arranges the order of an object in a stack. One can choose to send the object to the back of the stack, bring it to the front, or use the single triangular arrows to send the object backward, or bring it forward in incremental steps. Select an object. You can look at other objects with the drop-down menu. Drag and drop to change the order. You can select Align, Distribute as well. Let's see the Color and Painting Palette tool. Select an object by tapping on it. Clicking on the Fill box brings up a circular color menu. Tap on the color to fill. Tapping on the object allows you to fill customized values. Clicking on the Palette tool reveals two types of palettes, watercolors and oil colors. You can select any color from the palette by tapping on it. To mix colors, you can select a second color, which gives a real-time feedback of the color mixing that takes place. You can save a color by just dragging your finger from the center to the outer rim of the palette. For a mixed media effect, you can switch between the two modes by just going back to the palette and selecting the oil palette. The oil palette starts giving a texture to the color. After tapping on the oil drop icon, the consistency of the color can be changed by clockwise and counterclockwise gestures. The mixing area of the color palette can be used for consistency mode and transparency mode, which can be toggled. Both transparency and consistency can be increased or decreased by clockwise and counterclockwise gestures. The accelerometer of the tablet lets you achieve a dripping color effect. The Clone Stamp tool. Select the Clone Stamp tool and then the object, and a menu appears. Use the slider to increase or decrease its value. We can check the aligned option by tapping at the A checkbox. The brush type can be selected by tapping at the appropriate option. Swipe on the brush menu to view more options. Finally, the Transform tool. Select the Transform tool and then select the item to transform. The four icons are Drag, Rotate, Scale, and Flip. In case of rotation, you can change the central pivot to rotate the item in the desired manner. The top right icon is for scaling the item.